Saturday, February 4th, the UFC returns with a thunderous heavyweight showdown. Fan favorite, Derek the Black Beast Lewis, looks to use his devastating knockout power as he takes on surging finisher Sergey the Polar Bear Spivak, seeking his 14th career stoppage. UFC Fight Night, Lewis versus Spivak. Live, only on ESPN+.
UFC champions collide in a true super fight.
This is number one and number two pound-for-pound best in the sport.
Islam Makhachev, 11 in a row.
Alexander Volkanovski trying to take the lightweight belt on home soil.
Bringing it back home, baby.
Fireworks are guaranteed.
Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett.
I cannot wait.
Bring him on.
It all began 30 years ago with an idea.
You are about to see something that you have never seen before.
Welcome to the Ultimate Fighting Championship world.
This is a crazy sport, ladies and gentlemen.
30 years later, it's still leading the future of sports. The Ultimate Fighting Championship. The fight has just begun.
What's up, everybody? I'm UFC President Dana White, and we're coming up on UFC's 30th anniversary this year. So you know we're going to deliver some badass fight cards all year long. I'm going to break some news with you now. A couple of the fights you know about, a couple you don't. So let's start with the next pay-per-view. On February 11th, just a couple of weeks away, UFC 284. We are heading back to Australia. We're going to Perth. We've got the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world, featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski, moving up a weight class to challenge the number two pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Islam Makhachev, for his lightweight title. Pound-for-pound number one versus pound-for-pound number two, champion versus champion, super fight. You literally cannot make a better fight than that. On March 4th, UFC 285 in Las Vegas, in the main event, Jon Jones is back and he's moving up to heavyweight, where he will face former interim champion Cyril Gane for the undisputed heavyweight title. We already know Jon Jones is the greatest of all time for his dominant light heavyweight run, but if he comes back after a 3-year layoff and wins the heavyweight title, the debate is over. There's no more debating. Jon Jones is the greatest of all time. But if Cyril Gane's a massive heavyweight that moves like a middleweight, and he's an unbelievable striker. And if he can beat Jon Jones, he'll be the first to ever do it. Obviously, this is a massive legacy fight for both of these fighters. Now, in the co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko defends her flyweight title against Alexa Grasso, who is on a 4-fight win streak. Plus, we got Bo Nickel, one of the best prospects ever to come off the Contender Series. He's fighting Jamie Pickett, another Contender Series alum. We got Jeff Neal versus undefeated 16-0 Shavkat Rakhmonov. That is a badass fight. Now, rounding out the main card, Dan Hooker, who's never in a boring fight, is taking on Jalen Turner, who is on a 5-fight win streak. This card is incredible. The prelims have Derek Brunson versus Dricus du Plessis. We got names like Cody Garbrandt, Amanda Hebus, Ian Gary, Julian Marquez. Even the prelims are loaded with badass fights. So you do not want to miss this card on March 4th in Las Vegas. And we can't forget about the second pay-per-view in March on the 18th. It's UFC 286 in London. No new fights to report there, but do not forget, it's headlined by the rematch of 2022's upset of the year. New welterweight champ Leon Edwards makes his first defense against Kamaru Usman in the rematch. Edwards gets to defend the title in front of his home crowd in London, and Usman goes into enemy territory looking for revenge. Now, the co-main event is Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. This has the potential to be the fight of the year. And I tell you guys this all the time. If you have never seen a fight in London, England, this is your chance. Grab some tickets now. There is no better crowd anywhere in the world than the crowd in London. So do not miss this opportunity. Now, next up, April 8th, UFC 287. Here's the lineup. In the main event, middleweight champion, new middleweight champion, Alex Pereira, puts his title on the line in his rematch against former champ Israel Adesanya. The co-main event is Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal. Also on the card, we have Raul Rosas Jr., another Contender Series alum. He's only 18 years old, and he's 7-0 after his UFC debut last month. He's going to be taking on Christian Rodriguez, who's a tough kid who also came off the Contender Series. Plus, Kevin Holland versus Ponzinibbio, and rounding out the card in the main event, rounding out the main event card is going to be Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez. Tell me that one's not going to be a war. These prelims are loaded with great fights. We got Gerald Meerschaert versus Joe Pyfer, and we're still building that card right now for the April 8th pay-per-view. So that card's going to be incredible. The fights we're working on the rest of this year, I can't tell you about them because they're not done yet, but I will announce them when we're ready. And if you are a fight fan, 2023, UFC's 30th year, may be the best ever.